Steve Jobs said, learn continually. There is always one more thing to learn. Hi everyone, this is Nitin Saxena, your coach for verbal ability and soft skills, and I'm back with another session on the common errors of one of the important parts of speech, that is adverbs. Now, we have already discussed a few parts of speech, and I have already told you one thing, that we are what we are actually tested upon or questioned upon in our examinations. So, the basic thing is the common errors that we make while communicating in English, that is either in the writing mode or in the spoken mode. And those are the only common errors that the examiner actually tests us on. So today we'll be talking about the common errors based on adverbs. Now, before going ahead, I would like to talk about what adverbs are in English. You already know that what are adverbs. Now, adverbs are the modifying words in English. Now, they are the modifying words which actually modify three important parts of speech in English. What are those three important parts of speech? The first part of speech is an adverb modifies an adjective. So, adjective is the first part of speech. The second part of speech is verb, and the third part of speech is adverb. So, that means an adverb modifies an adjective, it can modify a verb, and it can as well modify another adverb. Right. Let us take uh, let us all right. Let us take an example here. I'll just write down three sentences on the board, and we'll actually understand this concept of adverbs and how does it modify all these three parts of speech in English. All right. I write down the first statement, says Andrew is a very careful driver. I write down one statement, that is Andrew carefully, and I take one more statement as an example, which says Andrew drives very carefully. Now just have a look at these three important statements. I underline a few important words here in these sentences. Now the first word I underline is very. The second word that I underline in the next sentence is carefully. And the third word that I underline in the next sentence is very. Now, please have a look at these important words and let us try to find out like how these words modify another word here in these sentences. Now, all these three words are the adverbs in English, right? Now, let us see how are they modifying another verb in each of these sentences. Sentence number one says, Andrew is a very careful driver. We know that Andrew is the subject here, right? And here again, driver is a noun. So we know that the word which comes before a noun actually defines that particular noun. So this word careful is actually defining this noun driver. So hence this word is known as an adjective in English, right? Now, here we see that it is written Andrew drives carefully. You know that Andrew is the subject because Andrew is performing the action. What action is he performing? The action being performed is driving. So here we have the word drives. So drives here, as it is denoting an action, therefore this will be known as a verb in English. Now, let us have a look at the third sentence. The third sentence says, Andrew drives very carefully. Now, here again, we know that Andrew is the subject because he is performing the action. The action is drives, right? And then there are two words, very carefully. Now, both of these words are actually defining this word drives in English, right? So both of these words, they are the adverbs in English. So I already told you the words which are underlined, so they are adverbs in these sentences. So in the first sentence we have the word very, which is an adverb. In the second sentence we have the underlined word carefully, which is an adverb. And in the third sentence we have the underlined word very again, which is also an adverb, right? So here we can see that uh, in the first sentence, this word very is defining the word careful. It is actually modifying this word careful. That means here adverb is actually modifying an adjective. Getting it? Now in the second sentence, it says Andrew drives carefully. So Andrew drives carefully. This is a verb and this is an adverb. Now this word carefully, this is defining what? This is defining this particular action. Drives. How does he drive? So he drives carefully, right? So here drives is a verb. So and this is an adverb. So this adverb is actually defining this verb or modifying this verb, right? And the third thing, in the third sentence is Andrew drives very carefully. Now again, both of these words are actually defining this action, this verb, right? So both of them will be known as adverbs. So here the word uh, now here the word very is actually defining this adverb carefully. We already wrote carefully in the above sentence. Now we have added one more adverb out here, very, just to increase the intensity, right? So here this verb very is actually modifying this verb carefully. That means one adverb is modifying another adverb. Getting it? So these are only the three things which I told you. What is the purpose of adverbs in English? An adverb actually modifies an adjective. Uh, an adverb actually modifies a verb, and an adverb modifies another adverb. Right? So uh, we see three things out of this. We can actually conclude three things. What does an adverb do? It actually defines the first thing, how an action how an action is done. This is the first thing, right? Now the second thing which is defined by an adverb is to what extent, the quality of a person is, right? And the third thing which is defined by an adverb is how much the quality of a person is. How much the quality of a person is. Right. So that means out of this we can conclude that an adverbs defines us the manner, degree, frequency, and etc. about an action or about any quality. All right. Now let us move to the common errors part of the adverb. Going back to the common errors part of the adverb, the first important error in the adverbs is, or we have to remember this concept, adverbs of frequency. Now, adverbs of frequency, which defines how many times an action took place. So, if we talk about how many times an action took place, so those are the words which are known as adverbs of frequency. So, like never, often, usually, always, rarely, etc. Right? So, these adverbs, and there are few other adverbs like already, most, just, quiet, nearly, hardly, etc. So they are normally put between the subject and the verb in the sentence. So we have to remember this thing, adverbs of frequency and few other adverbs like these. So they are normally put between the subject and the verb and they cannot be put anywhere else in the statement. There is one more thing which we should remember, that is if there is more than one word in the verb, they are put after the first word, right? So if the verb is composed of more than one word, then in that case, these adverbs are put after the first word. They are not put before the first word, right? Now, let us look at the examples. The first example says, my father often goes abroad. So here it says, my father often goes abroad. We know that my father is the subject because he is performing the action. What is the action? The action is goes. So we already said that these adverbs, like adverbs of frequency, so we have one adverb of frequency here, often. So this should be put between the subject and the verb. So this is the subject, this is the verb, and it is put between these two important elements in the sentence. Now, next we talked about certain other adverbs, and we have one adverb out of these quite here. The example says, I quite agree with you. So, I quite agree with you. Here, I is the subject, and agree is the action, which is a verb, right? And I told you that these adverbs are also to be put between the subject and the verb. So therefore, we can see that this adverb quite, this this is put between these two words, that is subject and verb. I quite agree with you. We cannot place this adverb anywhere else in the sentence. Moving to the next concept. The next concept says the adverb enough is placed after the adjective. This is very, very important concept which we should remember because we definitely get one question out of this concept in our examinations. And this is also one of the common errors that we commit while speaking or while writing something. So remember that the adverb enough is to be placed after the adjective in the sentence and nowhere else. Let us have a look at the examples. The first example says, she is cunning enough to tackle her friend. So when I say that she is cunning enough to tackle her friend, she is the subject. And this subject is being defined by this word cunning. How is she? So this is actually defining the quality of this pronoun. So cunning, therefore, is the adjective in the sentence. And I said that it should be the word enough should be placed after the adjective. Therefore, I placed this adverb enough just immediately after the adjective cunning. So she is cunning enough to tackle her friend. And if I say that she is enough cunning to tackle her friend, that sentence will be incorrect. Moving to the next concept. The next concept says ever is sometimes used incorrectly for never. I have very often seen people using these words interchangeably, and they actually get confused most of the times. They think that ever is equal to never and never is equal to ever, but it is not so. And ever cannot be used in place of never anytime, right? So let us have a look at the example here. If I say he seldom or ever tells a lie, so he seldom or ever tells a lie doesn't mean that he never tells a lie, right? He seldom or ever tells a lie means sometimes he tells a lie, right? So that is why this sentence is incorrect. If we are wanting to say that he never tells a lie, so this sentence in that context would be incorrect. If like we have to say that this person, this pronoun he doesn't ever tell a lie, or never tells a lie, so we'll have to structure it in some other way. So let us have a look at these ways. The first way is we can say that he seldom or never tells a lie. Won't say that he seldom or ever tells a lie. I'll always say he seldom or never tells a lie. So this is correct, and this means that this person doesn't ever tell a lie, right? There's one more way of writing this sentence. All right, moving to the next concept. The next concept says the adverb not should not be used with words having negative meaning. Remember, this is again one of the most common errors that people commit. They use not with the negative words, right? So it will be again a double negative, so that will be an error in English. So if or there is already a negative word in a sentence, we never use not with that negative word in our sentences. Let us look at the examples. The example says, the teacher forbade me not to go. Now, this sentence is incorrect. Why this is incorrect? Because forbade, this is actually a negative word in English, right? So this is already a negative word in English. So we will not use not after this, because this will actually nullify the meaning of this particular word in that case. So the teacher forbade me not to go, incorrect, because this is actually diverting the meaning of the sentence. This is actually changing the meaning of the sentence completely. The correct form would be the teacher forbade me from going. So the teacher forbade me from going. This is correct, because forbade is a negative word in English, and it should never be followed by another negative word that is not. Now the meaning is correct. कि टीचर ने मुझे जाने से रोका, right? Moving ahead. The next concept says the word only should be placed immediately before the word it modifies. So remember that this word only in English, which plays a very, very important role, this should be placed immediately before the word it modifies. So any word which is being modified with this word, or any word which is being defined with this word, so this word only should be placed immediately before that only, and nowhere else in the sentence. Example, I say that Harish answered only two questions. So, if I say that Harish answered two questions only, this word only is not modifying the noun, because questions is a noun. And I told you an adverb can modify only three things, that is, adjective, verb, and another adverb. So, therefore, if I place this word only after the word questions, that means at the end of the sentence, this will be incorrect. So here two is an adverb, so it should be placed before this adverb only. Harish answered only two questions. Going to the next concept. All right. So we have this another concept which says the expressions very much and very many. They are uncommon in affirmative sentences, but they are possible in questions and negatives. So these two expressions, like if we use very much or very many, so we actually try to avoid them in case of affirmative sentences because they are uncommon in case of affirmative sentences. But if we use like interrogative statements or the negative statements, that means the statements which are used to ask questions or convey any negative meaning. So in those sentences, these words can be used. Right. So if I say that she is very much beautiful, this sentence is incorrect because this is an affirmative sentence and beautiful here is an adjective defining the quality of this pronoun she. Now, we have used two adverbs to actually modify this adjective, which is incorrect in English. We only say that she is very beautiful, right? So this is the correct form. Next, if I say that I am very much sorry, so I am very much sorry. Again, this is an affirmative sentence. So this is again incorrect, right? So I'll say that I am very sorry. Got it? Going to the next concept. The next concept says enough cannot be modified by very. So if we have this word enough in our sentences, so this will never be modified by the word very. That means very cannot be used with this particular word in a sentence, right? So let us have a look at the example to have a better understanding of this. The example says he was very foolish enough to trust her. So I'm using very in this sentence and I'm also using enough in this sentence. And you know that foolish is the adjective here. So this word foolish, which is an adjective, this is being modified by an adverb enough, right? So we don't need to use this another adverb very here. So he was very foolish enough to trust her. This will be incorrect. The correct form of this sentence would be he was so foolish to trust her. This is the first way of writing this sentence. If I say that he was so foolish to trust her, I haven't used the word enough here. That is why I have used this adverb so here before this adjective foolish in this sentence. The other way of writing this sentence is he was foolish enough to trust her. So if I say that he was foolish enough to trust her, that means here foolish is again an adjective which is being modified with by this adverb enough. So therefore we do not need to use any adverb before this word foolish. So he was foolish enough to trust her. This is absolutely correct sentence. I hope it is clear till here. Going to the next one. Next one says anyhow. Now anyhow means in disorder, right? And somehow means by some means. So anyhow in disorder and somehow it means by some means, right? So let us have a look at the difference between both of these words to have more clarity on this. The first example says, I managed to do it anyhow. So if I say that I managed to do it anyhow, this is incorrect. That means this is in disorder. So this is not about disorder by hook or crook or by any means. Like I could have been able to do it. So the correct form would be I managed to do it somehow, right? So this is the correct form. Having one more concept here, it says the word anyhow. Anyhow can also mean for certain, right? Anyhow means किसी भी तरह से, अगर हम इंग्लिश में हिंदी में कह रहे हैं, right? So anyhow it also says for certain. That means yes, I have done this. Example, he may not win, but anyhow I shall, right? So I'm saying that he may not win, but anyhow I shall. मैं जीत जाऊंगा शायद, right? वो नहीं जीतेगा, but मैं जीत जाऊंगा. So this is certain that I will win. right? Going to the next one, the next concept says we use ago to count from now, and we use before to count from a past moment. Remember this thing once again. Ago is used to represent to count from now, and before represents to count from a past moment, right? And before long, this is something new which like you would have rarely heard. Before long means soon. Let us see the example here. The example says, before long, there was no one there. Now, this is sentence is incorrect because before long, this expression means soon. And if we use in this sentence, before long, there was no one there. So that means soon there was no one there. So this is absolutely incorrect because this is not conveying the correct meaning, right? What will be the correct form? The correct form would be long ago there was no one there, right? बहुत टाइम पहले वहां पर कोई नहीं था. Long ago there was no one there. This is the correct form of the sentence. Got it? So guys, we are done with the common errors part on the adverbs, right? And I hope that you are clear about all the topics till now which we have been doing. So keep preparing and keep waiting for the next session. So I'll come up with something new in the next session for you, which will actually help you to enhance your like communication in English, either it is written or spoken, as I already told you. So all the best. Thank you.